Sorry, I always have to reset the mic just to make sure that audio syncs up with the video. Good afternoon. Actually, technically, it's still morning for me here. Shaggy SoCal 12 for Forza, and this is the next round of track guides for our TNT Thursday Night Series in this 2020 Toyota Supra. So race one, I think, I'm assuming the first race is going to be at the Indianapolis GP. So what we'll do is I will do my standard format. I'm going to run a couple of laps, talk a little bit there, just at speed, kind of demonstrating what the car kind of likes and doesn't like. Then I'll probably do a slower lap, what I call like the quote unquote track walk, just to kind of point out some of the things I'm looking for, areas of concern, based on how this car is set up and what it seems to want, what it doesn't want. And then because I do need to practice, I want to get a little bit of traffic out there, and practice my questionable racecraft. I'll run a mock race, which will guesstimate what I think the amount of laps will be. That always varies a little bit, mainly depending on how organized we are, how the qualifying race goes, and if we have any disconnects. Plus, it'll be interesting because it'll be the first, this Thursday will be the first race that we do post the most recent update for December. So hopefully that with that, with some of the other fixes they're putting there, that includes some, more stability in the multiplayer lobby. So, okay, enough talking. Let's go drive. I think for these opening laps, I am going to run on soft tire. And I'm going to have about 10 laps of fuel in there. Again, I'm not going to do 10 laps on this part of it, but at least to give you an idea of, if you're looking at my times, what the car's doing, you can factor in the tire and the fuel load. So let's go ahead and start. Again, as we're learning with this car, it's because even though we've got, let me adjust the volume down a little bit so I can hear myself think. Just because we have the mighty wing on the back of the car and some aero downforce, I'm finding that's not as helpful here. This car with the suspension setup, and even on soft tires, you do have to be careful rolling back into the throttle, especially if you're routinely getting the car off on curbing and it unsettles the car. You want to be careful getting how aggressive you get back on the throttle. Soft tires, you get a little more, the car's a little bit more forgiving with that. It's still upset it based on weight transfer. The mediums is an entirely different story. So getting into the S's here, again, I'm just going to be feathering the throttle, use a little bit of the curbing, be touching the steering. That one especially will cause issues if you're not careful. Pull back in. Oh, almost pushed it a little wide. Tires still aren't completely up to 10. The other thing, Forza 7, usually would they come up to temp at about half a lap, half an out lap, and Forza Motorsport, it's almost a full lap until the tires grip up. Okay, third gear here, can just about do it flat on the softs. You cannot do it flat in the mediums, and I'll try and demonstrate that in a little bit here, but we'll do one more. So heading down the front stretch, the big camera position is a good reference point from a distance, and braking at the 350 board just past that camera position. I can do this in third gear. I like third gear. The car's a little bit more relaxed. That curbing, got to be careful if you eat a lot of it. This one, I probably use the braking line too much, but I don't have any reference points, consistent reference points there. Probably use a little too much curbing. You can use a lot of this curbing. Just be aware, again, as we're saying, as I'm experiencing, this car does not like to get unsettled and will bite you. Okay, let's go to the curving there. That one's fine. Again, as far as using this curving, you can get under the grass a little bit on the inside. Be careful with this one, because you can see how it really unsettles the car. And if you have a little too much throttle, I'm pretty sure you can get into a pretty nice spin or a tank slapper at least. I pushed a little bit. And corner here. third gear. So you can see I can do it flat on the softs if I get the line right. I can't. I've tried it a couple times with the medium, but I cannot do that last turn flat on the mediums. And actually, let's go ahead and 132.8. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end this. Well, let's just do the slow track walk. So as I was saying, 350 boards. Yeah, shows you what my eyes do at speed. All right, so coming down the front stretch, fifth gear. From a distance, you use that camera crane, as your initial reference. If you can spot that, even if you can't see the braking line, if you're drafting somebody, if you spot that, you know that you're going to be braking like right as you pass that. So that'll give you a good, again, the sooner you can identify your braking points, the more consistent you'll be. But it'll be as you pass that. It is the 150 board. Again, my eyes at speed, I swear it looked like it said 350. I'm getting old. Maybe a little too old for Forza. But it is that, as the crane passes, it's the first braking board you see. And again, depending on the time of day or weather conditions, you may or may not be able to pick out the number. But definitely you should be able to see the shape of the board at speed. So crane, board, brake. And that might, again, the tire you're on might adjust that a little bit. The softs, obviously, you probably can get to the brakes to be a little more aggressive, get to the brakes later because the tires, have more grip and help slow the car. Again, I think one of my old instructors that I had when I dipped my toe into real driving had said, your brakes stop the wheel, the tires stop the car. So, take that for what it's worth. I think it's worth something. But anyway, slow down, brake. Third gear or second gear? I haven't made up my mind yet. I like, again, it's where do you want this car? This car does not. I don't think this car is already nervous enough, especially if you're going to be using curbing or doing things that's going to, upset the suspension. So I think personally, unless I really have to put it into second, I'm probably going to be doing this opening chicane or this opening, right-left combo in third gear, just to help the car be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more calm, especially if I start going over curbing. So if I put it in second, get it up on its toes, this car's already nervous enough as it is. So my preference would probably be third gear. If I'm in heavy traffic, I might drop to second, maybe to help get a little gap and maybe set up some runs. But on the turn in, I am going to try and clip the right sides on the curbing there, cross over the line a little bit to try and open the next corner up. Now from here, one of the things you want to keep in mind is if you can kind of see that this turn 2, it crests as you go into the infield. And again, because of the nervousness of the car, we're still low speed here, so we don't have a lot of downforce help from the rear wing. The back end's going to get a bit light, especially as you load up and you try to get back into the throttle. So if you're going to consistently take curbing here, which I probably will, as you crest this here, you're getting on the curbing, it's going to upset the car, you're unloading the back of the car as you're coming over the crest. Just be careful how aggressive you get to the throttle on the way up, because you still are going to have a bit of steering in, so the weight's going to be to the right side of the car. So just be careful getting back the throttle. You might actually feel the car as you roll back into the throttle. You might feel the back of the car, just the back end just ever so slightly step out. As long as you don't start hearing a huge amount of tire squealing behind you from the rear tires, you might be able to continue to roll in the throttle. At worst, just back off a little bit, let the back settle in, and then roll back on throttle. So coming through this next corner, this one again, this is another one of those. I wish there were better reference points. So I'm relying a bit more on the braking line than I probably would like. Though I'm sure if it got turned off, I'd figure it out eventually. But some of the things I'm looking at, the way this turn works is you look at the track map. It's a slight turn and it does straighten out a little bit. But this is one that if you're not careful, it's very easy to then just let the car go off on the left side. So I'm going to let the car drift out. And usually when the building, let me back it up here a little bit. One of the first things I kind of look for is I'm looking at the edge of the white building there on the right side and the light pull past it. Usually it's about when those are going out of view. that seems to line up with the braking line to where you're going to want to get on the brakes. You might be able to brake a little bit later, but the idea is, and this is the danger part, is you can see how kind of the position of the car. I'm actually going to be braking. I'm going to brake kind of in a straight line. I'm really not going to try and turn and brake at the same time. I'll probably brake a little bit of the straight line, but I'm pointed towards the outside of the circuit. So it is a brake. You wanna get your braking done and get off the brakes, and then really continue to turn in for the next corner. Leave yourself a little wiggle room on the left side, because again, this car does not like curbing as much as other cars we've driven. And if you get too far out and you miss your braking, it's very easy to get pushed off. The other thing you also want to just protect against is the way the nature of this corner. You know, the ideal line is to be out wide like this to really open up the next corner as it gets onto the back straight. Um, you're kind of opening yourself up for somebody dive bombing in, and if they get it wrong and push wide, and you don't leave yourself enough room here, you could find yourself inadvertently getting shoved off. Not that any, and I say inadvertently because I don't think any of us intentionally do try to shove each other off the track. But give yourself a little wiggle room. Still, all of this, I'm still going to be in third gear at this point. I wouldn't even upshift to fourth, so I'll still be in third gear. Turn the car in. I think just out of habit, I'll probably, you can kind of see a little bit of dirt on the curbing there from what the game indicates is people putting tires on the curbs. I'll probably do that in the race. I'll probably even do that in the practice here. Just know it's going to upset the car a little bit. I would say if you're going to use curbing, just use 2 tires on the curbing. Try to avoid getting the inside tires on the other side of the curbing in the grass, because that actually will make things worse, because the backside of the curbing is a much harsher transition than, you got this nice little gentle hill, then just drops on the curbing. So be careful. Roll back into the throttle. Now the suggested line has the line going all the way out to the left side and hugging the left side through the chicane. In the heat of racing, I might follow that. I think ideally, just as if I'm consciously thinking about it, I'll probably be off a little bit from the left side just to give me a little more opening into the chicane. But again, we have generous track limits, so let's see how far can I go off the curbing before it tells me I'm off track. I'm straddling the curbing, and the car's magically rotating on its own. You can straddle this curbing, you can straddle the next curbing, you can go plow straight through it. But again, you're going to be doing a lot of this with the suspension and the tires, and you're trying to stay on throttle. Don't be surprised if the back of the car jumps and skips and starts to protest through there. So while you can use a lot of the curbing, I probably wouldn't suggest it. Maybe, again, one side of the car or the other. Just get on the curbing lightly. So my habit, I will probably, if I'm going to use the curbing, I will probably center this curbing here. Is probably what I'll aim to do. I'll probably be a little neater on the previous curbing. Maybe just get the left sides on it, and then straight line this one. It's probably what I'll do. We'll see what happens when I get in the practice race. Certainly the AI will make the first opening laps interesting. But if I do it right, you're out third gear, fourth gear, up to fifth, bring the car back across. Coming down from the next set of corners and S's, what I'm going to be looking for is, and again, my old eyes, is you can see the smaller remote TV crane on the inside. That's a good reference point if you can spot it. Also, the beginning of the curb on the outside, just at about the one. My eyes. Is that the 100 board or is it the 150? 150. So just at the 150 board, you're going to be braking, and again, depending on your speed, depending on your tire, you're going to be braking somewhere between these two, I believe. But usually it's that camera position that I'm looking for. Brake, 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 brake. And much like the opening chicane for turns 1 and 2, for this entire back section here, I will be most likely in third gear if I'm on my own. The car just seems to be a little bit calmer. If I have to drop it to second, it's because I'm in traffic. But with this curbing here, these curbings you can get away with, so I'm going to probably clip that one late if I get it right. And I'm going to try to keep it middle-ish of the track. I'm not going to go all the way to the inside. I need to, again, it's this nice left-right combo, so it's going to be all, it's going to be a lot of late apex and sacrifice corners, because the most important one is the last one that kind of starts leading on to the oval again. So I'll be probably hopefully about the middle. These next couple of corners, my tendency is will I probably will end up dropping the. I'm already doing it here. I've already got the right sides on the opposite side of the curbing. But through these next couple of chicanes, it's I'm really not going to be when I'm in rhythm. I won't be braking at all. It is just going to be I'm going to ease off I'll be off the throttle once I get to the apex. I'll probably roll back in the throttle a little bit, and then as I turn for the next corner, I'll release the throttle, get the car in, roll back into the throttle. And it's just a nice gentle off and on turn in. If I'm doing it right and I'm doing it calmly. Um, this curving isn't, if you drop inside tires onto the grass here, it's not that bad. You can usually recover it pretty nicely, roll back into the throttle. It's this one that will bite you. Because I'm putting a little bit more steering, and I've already had it happen a couple of times where I've dropped tires, and as the car transitions back onto the circuit and I'm trying to roll back into the throttle, the back end starts to jump out. So be careful. Make sure it's almost like if the car's starting to do a lot of rocking coming off the curbing, hold off on committing to the throttle until the car is fully back on the pavement, and kind of give it a split second to kind of settle, then roll back into the throttle. And bring the car out here. Same thing here. Just going to lift off the throttle, turn the car in. This one you can eat a little bit of the inside, roll back the throttle out. Again, still not getting a lot of aero benefit. So just be careful as you accelerate out and you're still going to have steering in, that the car doesn't push off. If you think the car's starting to push a little bit, you can give it a little more steering to try and scrub the fronts. You can also just lift the throttle a little bit, and that'll get the car back in line and then roll back in. And then I'll probably be. My habit is I'll probably drop tires on the exit there. Try not to. So for this next corner, the line, this is where I wish I could completely turn it off. The little section line for practice is where they do the section. You're braking a little bit before that. This one, depending on the time of day and the weather conditions, it's incredibly difficult to pick up reference points beyond the braking line. And I'll even say, if it's like late afternoon or evening for the weather setting, it is impossible. It's actually even hard to see the braking line, just how the light hits it. So things I'm kind of trying to spot, and again, things that you might notice as depending on the different lighting conditions. So this you can kind of see on the catch fence here on the left side. You can see the extra bolts there holding the cables together. Depending on the time of day, that will stand out a little bit more or less. Right now I can kind of make it out. When it gets later in the day, it pops out with a slightly different color. With the lower sunlight hitting it. So sometimes I'll try to spot that. I can barely ever see. I don't know. It's kind of one of those. I almost wish that they were whiteboards with black numbers, because that would, at least to my eyes, be a little easier to spot. But the braking is about the 100 board, if you can spot it. And your fourth gear like that, it's going to be back down. Again, this is where I'll be. Third gear would be my preference if I can get the braking done right. Second gear if I'm in traffic or I have to really check up and slow down. This one's hard for me to get right consistently. If you get the braking right, you should be able to bring the car down and just barely touch the curbing on the right side. This is one that I tend to overshoot more often than not. The other thing you got to be careful of is you're coming off the oval. Even though we're entering the infield section again from the short chute between 1 and 2, there is still a little bit of banking. There is still a little bit of a transition on the angle. And as you're hitting the apex and you're trying to roll back into the throttle, the back tires are at that transition point, and you may feel the back of the car step out. So just be careful. Again, play around with it. I mean, in practice, as I say, drive it like an idiot, and see where the car gets unsettled and upset, and then just realize I shouldn't do that in the race. most likely, more often than not, we're all going to be out here on the left side. Bring it back to the right as best you can, at least mid track. Again, this corner, second or third. I think for me, I'll probably do it in third, even though I'm in first right now. Put the apex there. The exit's going to take you all the way to the curbing, and I think the suggested line wants you all the way to the curbing, heading out onto the front straight. Um, my 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 preference, my experience is this car. You know, again, it does have wings, but the aero doesn't seem to be as helpful here. Tires are playing more into it, and we've got again a car that's got pretty stiff suspension, doesn't like to get upset, and will give up, pretty easily. So what I tend to do is I'm going to bring it out just a little bit to open this final turn up, and then turn in and try to get. And this is a balancing act. In my own experimentation on soft tires, when they're up to temp, you can just about if you get the line absolutely right, you get the turn in just right, and you're paying attention. You might have to get a little bit more as you get, past the apex. You can probably hold it flat onto the front straight. Medium tires, not so much. Medium tires, it was kind of like what I demonstrated with one of the other cars back in Forza 7. That the medium tires, if you try to hold it flat through here, right as the car really loads up on the left rear, you'll lose the back end. You'll hear the tires spin up, and the car will just it makes a really nice, pretty spin. I'll have to try and maybe in the mock race on mediums, I'll try and demonstrate that. But just be very, very careful through there. The exit. Let's see, where are the track limits? Are you going to show me? Oh, it's not. Oh, because I've turned the markers off. So the exit, really, I would say the grass is a good indication where the track limits are. Stay off the grass, but you can. Let me back it up. On your exit line out, you can probably bring it all the way out to here, and as long as you're not getting into the grass, you're still on the track. So even though you can kind of see the white line kind of indicates, oh, you should be a little further inside on the way out. You don't necessarily have to be. So just know you've got probably a little bit more track that you can use on exit than at least what the painted lines are telling you. And third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, back on the front stretch, and that is a lap of Indy GP. So just as a real quick demo, let me go back to event menu. I'm actually going to switch to the medium tires really quick. Fuel and tire. Not wet. No, that'd be really bad. I just want to demonstrate because, it looks fun. I'm just going to run an out lap, but I'm going to show you the difference between with the final turn on medium tires, just so you're aware of it. I got to get around. Here, probably could have braked it a little bit later. Feel the back end was the tires were just about out of grip. Here. It's a little bit late, but tires are still a little bit cold, I think. See how the back steps out a little bit? This is on the medium tire, so you have much less grip. So it's just something also to keep in mind, depending on what tire you start on, or if you're going to start in softs. All right, so let's show what happens if you try to go flat through the final turn on medium tires. And I probably could have gotten in there a little bit quicker. So that's just something to keep in mind on the mediums. you're going to have to lift a little bit. You don't have to come all the way out of the throttle. You just need to just get out of the throttle just enough. I say take the torque out of the rear wheels, just enough so that the back end stays in check. Once you kind of get past and the car sets, you should be able to then roll back in. But it's just on that, and it's part of it's also the transition. You're starting to come back onto the front straight. There's a little bit, you can kind of see there is a little bit of a tilt to the track. So that's Indy GP. And now let's go, and I need to practice. So let's go to the event menu. Excuse me. Yeah, that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll set up the race and see how we do there. So let's go to event setup. I'm going to pull up my saved options. Load saved options. I still should have the TNT Supra. No, that one. Let's load that. Now, that was Road America East. We're not at Road America East. We are at Indianapolis. Yeah, I know alphabetical order. Grand Prix circuit. Again, I'm probably overestimating it. It's probably going to be no more than 15 laps. It might actually be 14. Now, let's do 14 because it's about, soft tires. I'm running like 132s, at least right now. Certainly as the track rubber is up, that time will come down on softs. But you figure when you run the numbers, if we're trying to do roughly a 25-minute race, 14, 15 laps is probably in the ballpark. Time scale 2, rolling, starting time of day. We're gonna do. Let's do sunset. Let's just go dynamic here. Thin haze. We're gonna do partly cloudy. Dynamic track rubbering on. Driver difficulty 500. Number of drive tires 23. So the cars. I'm still gonna have everybody run Supras, but one of the things I want to do is. I'm going to bump this up to 825. There's a reason. I did run some test laps here, and let's just say there's some pathing issues still with the AI. Now, I don't know if it's just the drivatars themselves having pathing issues, or if how I'm setting up the race is contributing to it. So I'm not going to totally throw turn 10 under the bus, but yeah, there's pathing issues on the final turn with the AI. So this might not be that exciting of a race, but we'll find out. Accept all. Okay. All right. Event info. Partly cloudy. Modern sports group. Any driver list. And yeah, I complained about hey, I'm trying to set it, so I'm starting at the back. So fingers crossed that the update that comes out next week then resolves this. But what I'll do is at the race start, I'll get out of the AI way and drop to the back. So, and it is, that's the other thing I just want to double check. Event info, no, event setup. I just want to make sure I got quick stops on, which I should, because there is a mandatory quick stop. Okay. For the car, what I'm going to do, because I need to just see what it's like, I'm actually going to run hard compound to start and then switch to softs at the halfway point, just so I have a really dramatic feel for what the race will be, or for at least what the car does. And we're saying 14 laps, so I'm going to put 15. I always go, for me, I don't mess with the fuel. I just load the fuel up for what I need for the race, and then I manage tires. So if it is like a 14-lap race, 56% fuel gets you one tick into the 15s. That should be enough to get you to the end. I am going to start on the hard compound. I'll switch to the soft about laps at the end of lap 7 if I remember. Let's go ahead and start race. Again. There we go. Yeah, you guys go by. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. And again, because they're all a bunch of traffic, they're already braking. They're not even at the camera boom yet. just take this one easy. Good, cold tire. Wow. Oh. Wait a minute. I have no steering. I hope this bug gets is part of that update. Or do I have steering? Do I have steering? No, I do not. I'm full lock. I have no steering. I mean, I know the hard tires don't have a lot of grip, but they have more grip than that. So, all right. So that means we need to exit. I'm actually going to quit the race, and we will reload, and that should take care of it. I remember the first time that happened, I was like, okay, what did I do wrong? It's like, nope, it's an undocumented feature. Let's go to Toyota, Supra, yes. Okay, so it should, no, it's got the test drive. So, load saved options. TNT, nope, TNT Supra, load TNT Supra. And then we updated from last week's track guides, which was IMS, GP, 14 laps. And no, we said we want to do this at sunset. Because why not? And I like partly cloudy. I don't feel like driving in the rain. 50% track rubbering, number of driver tires 23. Tire designs, then we said we were going to pump this up to 825. Just to see if we can have somebody to chase. And we do have mandatory pit stops 1. Okay.
The Indy Grand Prix circuit is almost entirely flat, so always keep your
car. This is always the part I always forget. Like, I gotta go in, I gotta set my tire. What do we say, 56%? And we're gonna start on the hard tire compound. And let's go ahead and start race. I knew something was up when it took that long to get the race started. It's like something's going on. It's a little bit better. Okay. Fingers crossed for steering. Oh yeah, now we got steering. Yeah, we got steering. All right, so we're just going to take it easy here on the first turn. Jason Conner taking it very ginger on the first turn. Here, tire's a little bit cold. Wow, already the car is going off. So this is where the drive tires are really, if you're gonna race the AI in practice, just know to the chicane, just very tentative through there. Oh, cold tires. Well, it's like, how much of the lap can I complain about cold tires? Again, a lot of traffic. Oh, a lot of contact. We'll just take it and say, yes, I see you on the outside there. That's a padding issue. See that, and we'll see how consistent that is with the front runners. Let's go all the way to the inside because let's live dangerously.
Total time penalty is about 2.5 seconds.
Wow. Well, yeah, that was, I mean, I'm not going to complain. That was unintentional, avoidable contact. I absolutely agree with that. But as I said, these track guides, you will see a lot of questionable racecraft, and it's not always from the drivatars. How did White Phoenix not get a penalty for that? That was a clear, major cut on the inside of that chicane. Looking on the inside. That's the other thing you got to be careful of getting back to throttle. Is that weight transfer? The car, the front end will take off. So we're up to 11th place. Almost got a huge lead, but hopefully I can claw some of that back now. Still late there. Leave a little room for Landrail. Yeah, that's clearly his driver target. Landrail doesn't. Try and stay off that inside curve on the. Try to stay off the inside curve on the exit there. Wow, this is treacherous with the hard compound. Put it down a second because I'm totally out of rhythm, missing a lot of braking points. About as far to the inside as I want to get. Yeah, the pathing issues because they cut the grass and almost get into the wall. It makes for nice, easy passes on the front straight. again, if I start to feel the back end, starting to get into the tank slapper, first thing I'm just doing is getting my foot off the gas completely and just, when in doubt, both feet out, just to get, just let the car settle back in, and then try to reapply the throttle. Not sure why you were a little bit slow there, but. Tried to get back on the throttle, and I still had steering, and back end started to step out. How many more laps do I have to run on this tire? Which is good. Late for that corner. This car does not like that middle part of that combo. That left-hander just really gets upset if you go too far off on the curbs. The cones. Even there, the back end wants to step out. It's a combination of maybe I'm not describing it right, but there's just times where it's like fronts. The back is loose, but then it's just all of a sudden like the fronts grip up and just throws the back like a pendulum. Talk about pit entry. This one, I kind of say it's like Spa, where you're coming out of this out of this corner here, and it's kind of like just instead of going all the way to the left, just keep it to the right. The hard part is it's hard to spot. Just follow the edge of the track and go in. I think we get caught a lot sooner than we did in Forza 7. So as long as you can get the car to the tire barriers, then the game will kind of pick up and bring you in. So let's go to soft tires, please, and skip. Long pit lane. A little drink here. Frames per second. So it releases you just past, there's that blend line where the white line on the left ends. There's then perpendicular blend line. That's where you'll actually get released. So just as soon as you're released, just get ready to brake. And then you're back on course. Okay, let's see what we can do with the soft tires. Leaders in front still have to pit, so I've got to try and cut that. I know the undercut is very powerful here, so I should be going from, let's say, the mediums to the soft. So my best was a 133.5, I think it was on the hards. Well, I had to have done the hards because I've only just finished the first lap on the softs. Let's see how much of a difference that the softs make. Also keep in mind that the track is rubbering in, so that's gonna also play into improved lap times late in the race. Oh yeah, this car likes. It's like, oh, thank God, soft tires. So that's the other thing. That inside curbing. Well, I did say you would see a questionable racecraft, but what I was starting to say before I totally binned it, yeah, try and, even on the soft tires, stay off that inside curbing on the last turn. It is not good. So I'm going to just try and salvage. It's not worth pitting again. Let's see let's see how many places we can salvage here. Oh yeah. So the left rear is messed up. So it should be fine on left-hand turns. It's the right-hand turns that are going to be questionable. The car should be fine here. It's going to hate me here. So it's got to be very gentle here. Okay, through here. Maybe not. Bouncy. I know there's severe damage, but we're gonna try and work with it. Again, here I talk about, oh, stay off the curbing. What do? I go right back to the curbing. Oh, I don't feel so bad now. Thank you very much, Mampton. Is that Mampton? Yeah. Look at these spin. feel that that left rear just spins up that little bit because it doesn't have helpful suspension. Up to 8. Let's see if I can salvage top 5. You're going to keep reminding me of that every lap, but I don't believe everything I read. How far back are we at the line? 55 seconds?
3 remaining.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's got to be just so you get that weight on that left rear and it just wants to start sliding out. That is about as much of that curbing as you can use without going, getting a track limit penalty. Get the car out of the right-hand corners. Electric behind me, so, and he's got 2. All right, so we're almost even, Steven. I got like a 10th advantage on him as far as time penalties. And Mapson is having a much worse time of it than I. Landroll that's got 2 tenths or 3. Hopefully they both those guys behind me go through the grass on the final turn to make up for my lack of turning ability, and I can stay ahead of them. So I am in 5th. Short shift, gentle. She took a very shallow line at that final corner.
1 more. Finish strong.
I'm going to try. Get over there, Waddy. bounce, bounce. I always tend to take this a little bit wider than the game suggests. All right, let's try not to bend it on the last turn. And I almost bent it on the last turn. Ah, that's right. Some say that the universe does not recognize the word no. So what am I focusing on? Bending it on the last turn. So that's Indy GP and the Supra. On soft tires, I'm running in the 132s somewhere. I'm not sure if it's mid 132s or not. But again, 23-minute race. Yeah, we'll probably do 15 laps. But again, I think it's a little bit more grip compared to say like Spa. I felt there was a couple places that were a little bit lower grip than I think they should have been. But that's my opinion. And what do I know? But again, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'll be back shortly to do the track guide for, and I got to double check it. I think the other race for this coming Thursday is Nürburgring GP. So it's kind of similar to what we had at Spa, but we'll see how that one goes. But I hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. Hope you're having fun on Sunday, and we'll talk to you soon, or see you soon on track. I got to work on my outro. Happy racing.